Video games. Ever since their inception, they have become an integral part of our culture. But where does their story begin? When did the first video game when was it created? In the year 1962, MIT student Steve Russell invents Space Wars, the first video game as we know it, because it had a display with images that you could manipulate. A decade later, in 1972, the game Pong is released in arcades across the US and becomes a video game legend for years to come. And then, in 1977, the Atari 2600 is released and makes many people home gamers. Now, how do video games remain relevant and evolve? And how did they become a part of our culture? Well, believe it or not, video games weren't always popular and weren't always seen as good or fun entertainment. For a while, in the mid-80s, the market became flooded with video games. Many people or companies saw the profit to be had in the video game industry and saw it as a surefire way to make money. But the problem is that these companies had no idea how to make a video game or what video gamers wanted. But in 1985, a Japanese toy company by the name of Nintendo got it right. They knew that video gamers wanted to play as a character, not a spaceship or some bleep on the screen. So, in the year 1985, they released the Nintendo Entertainment System, or the NES, and the game Super Mario Bros. And it almost single-handedly saves the video game industry. Now, how did video games become part of our culture? Well, after the release of the Atari 2600, many companies saw the profit to be had in video games. And video games were soon made about movies, and movies were also made about video games. And a notorious failure about this subject is the game E.T. for the Atari 2600. It has gone down in history as the worst video game ever made. An example of why video games should not be rushed. Now, video games have evolved to stay relevant. How so? Well, home consoles have been given to people if they don't want to leave the house and go to the arcade, such as this newest home console, the Wii U from Nintendo. And it evolved even further. If you were traveling and you still wanted to be gaming, evolved into handhelds, such as this Nintendo 3DS. So, what am I trying to say here? The point is that video games are here, and they are here to stay. One, because they evolved to stay relevant, and two, because the industry brings in more and more revenue each year and more people. It makes more money than the movie industry and the music industry combined. Thank you.